Okay, let's have a look at creating new documents. Now, we'll talk about opening files in just a bit, but what I'm referring to is creating brand new blank documents inside Photoshop. And this is really handy to know whether you're creating perhaps a photo montage of some sort, or maybe you want to start creating some components for your website or your blog, perhaps a header or some kind of a graphical component. Usually it always starts inside the New Document dialog box. So whether you're on Mac or PC, the process is exactly the same. Head to the File menu and then very first option there, New, or you can whack Control-N or Command-N on your keyboard if you like your keyboard shortcuts. Either way, you'll wind up inside this dialog box. Now, right up at the top of this dialog box, you can give your document a name if you want. I could call this Jeff's New File, or perhaps Blog Header, or Photo Montage, or something like that. Now, this is optional. You don't have to give your file a name if you don't want to. When you go to save your file, you'll be prompted for a file name anyway. And then below that, what we can do is we can choose a document preset, default Photoshop size, or we could go US paper, or photo, or web, film and video, and so on, or we could go custom if we want. I have to be honest though, these first two options I never use. What I do is I come into width and height, I pop in my values, I set my resolution and my color mode, I hit OK, and I'm off to the races. So that's usually how I do it anyway. Maybe that's a little bit old school, I don't know, but the first thing that I'm going to do though is I'm going to make sure that my unit of measurement is set to inches here. I'm assuming that this is going to be a print document, or what I could do is I could go with pixels if I were building something for the web. Let's do that instead, actually. I'm going to go with pixels. And what I'll do is, let's imagine that we're going to set up a web header, either for a blog or for a website. Well, I'm going to set my width here, the maximum width, which is 960 in web design circles. I don't want to design anything any larger than that, so 960 is the width. The height, let's say 100 pixels for the height there. The resolution, now this is going to lead us down a deep dark path if I'm not careful. I'm going to make sure that my resolution is set to pixels per inch, and I want to make sure that my resolution is just 72, so 72 pixels per inch. That's the default resolution for anything that's going to be viewed on screen, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation or a website banner header like you and I are designing here. And then the color mode, I'm going to make sure my color mode is set to RGB, or red, green, and blue. Again, anything that's viewed on screen is going to be in the RGB color space. If I were designing anything for print, then I would go with CMYK, or cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, the CMYK color space. But again, just make sure you're on RGB for now. The background contents, I'm going to make sure I'm set to white. So in other words, my blank document is going to show up as a blank white document. If you want, you can go into advanced here. You can set your color profile, and you can also adjust your pixel aspect ratio. This gets into if you do any video work, any video editing and things like this, you can come in here and set up your pixel aspect ratio. I'm designing for the web though, of course, so I'm going to stick with square pixels. And as a matter of fact, I'll go and collapse this advanced section here. And then from there, all I'm going to do is click on OK, and that's really all there is to it. We're now ready to roll. We're ready to start building our mock-up here for our website or our blog. So that's really all there is to setting up a new document. Again, it's just File and then down to New, and then I throw in my width, my height. I make sure I'm on the correct unit of measurement, my resolution, and then I click on OK, and that's all there is to it.